So today's topic is going to be diffusion and diffusion equation and the statistical understanding of diffusion process. So it's going to be really basic statistical considerations. And as we all know that we are not going into the perfect theory, we are just going to take few approximations here and there and just want to know what's going on inside this diffusion process. So that's our main goal. And we'll first try and derive something that is called diffusion equation using very simple fundamental physics. And then we will talk about something called diffusion coefficient, and we will use the same treatment as we used in viscosity and in thermal conductivity to find out that constant that is called diffusion coefficient. So we'll use the same treatment here. So if you are familiar with that part, then you will be thinking that why teacher is teaching the same thing so many times again and again and again and again. Yes, somebody was asking.
It was a Graham's law in chemistry.
Yes, so it was a Graham's law. Actually, I don't know the statement, but
A diffusion, the rate of diffusion
Yeah,
is
that is
like
our
inversely proportional to square root of its molecular weight.
yes, so yes, it is diffusion equation. Yes, surely, it is Graham's law. So it is also diffusion equation, but in general, when we talk about diffusion equation, we talk about partial differential equation. So just I'll give you one example of diffusion equation while we are when we will be studying that. I'll give you that example. So till then, you just have to wait and just stick with me until we understand the meaning of diffusion first. So what is the meaning of diffusion? It is in the simple words, how many molecules are joining the party. What is the party? So let us consider a tube. In the tube, there are so many molecules of B, molecules B. Let's say it is helium or something. So there are so many molecules B already present inside this tube. And now what you are doing, you have a pump, and using that pump and the piston system, you are just throwing in some gas of molecules A inside this tube. That process is called diffusion. In the last class we talked about just a little bit about this process. You are using the same process to fabricate actually the p-n junction diodes. So what you actually do is you have a p-type material, the whole material is p-type. Now what you do is you have a gun of n-type material or a target, which we call target. You keep both of them in a chamber, a vacuum chamber. Here is a substrate of p-type material, and here is a target of n-type material. Then what you do is you produce some plasma inside. So there's plasma ions of argon gas or maybe any inert gas. Those plasma ions will take out the atoms from this target and they will carry those atoms onto the substrate, and that process is going to be called diffusion. And in this way, what you are eventually going to get is this diffused part of N region. This is N region, and the yellow part was P region. So diffused part of N region into P, and this region is called p-n junction. So eventually you are going to get the p-n junction diode using the diffusion process itself. Its fabrication process is diffusion process. But we are considering more about, not about this plasma state of diffusion process, because it is a little bit more complicated. We are going to talk about gas and diffusion process of gas in general. So yes, this is what it is. Few molecules of B already sitting inside a pipe, few molecules of A coming and diffusing themselves into this tube. Now let us suppose that number density of molecule B is Nb. Let's denote them by this. And number density of molecule A are Na. So what will happen? Once you shoot these A molecules into the pipe, they will try to rearrange themselves so that their density becomes equal at all the places. They'll try to rearrange themselves so that they should not be collected at only a single place. They'll try to move around and they'll try to arrange themselves in a manner that their number density eventually becomes constant. And in that process, which we call the transport process, there is a non-equilibrium. And we are in this chapter anyways going to be studying non-equilibrium processes. So that is the one wonderful non-equilibrium process that we are going to be studying. So that is non-equilibrium that we are going to be studying, rearrangement of A molecules in this pipe of B molecules. That's what the process of diffusion we are going to be talking about. So let's talk about some physics. What is the flux of A molecules? Let's talk about flux of A molecules in Z direction. Let's take this direction as Z direction. And flux of molecules A along Z direction is definitely proportional to del NA by del Z. I hope you know this, because as we move in Z direction, number density of A molecules will be different. So flux of A, by what do I mean by flux of A? By flux of A, I mean number of molecules. Now I hope you heard this word quite a few times. So it is number of molecules A crossing unit cross-sectional area per unit time. So this is what flux of A means, and it is definitely proportional to del NA by del Z. It means that as we move along the direction of Z, the number density of A will be definitely changing, and that change is represent for the flux of A. That because of that change in density, as we move along Z, we are going to get the flow of A. That means number of molecules crossing unit cross-sectional area per unit time. And since this flux of Z is proportional to this, it is actually valid for this statement, is actually valid for any molecules whatsoever. Any molecules or any process, you take any pressure, this law is valid. This proportionality is valid. But when you give less pressure to A molecules, when you give more pressure to A molecules, they will rearrange themselves in the tube differently. So how to tackle those external factors? This is internal factor. This is going to be there anyhow. But how to tackle those external factors? We are going to take another constant which depends on the situations. For different situations, this constant is going to be different, and that's what we call this statement. That's what we call Fick's law. So I hope you understood this. It is just similar as in thermal conductivity. So in thermal conductivity, it was due to temperature gradient, and then we introduced a constant called thermal conductivity, which a coefficient of thermal conductivity, which eventually was varying from material to material, because for same temperature gradient, different materials behave differently. So that was thermal conductivity was different from material to material. And now here, for same gradient of number density, you are going to have different diffusion flux, and that flux is going to be dependent upon the situations and so many other parameters, and that all the parameters are going to be taken care by this constant. This constant is called coefficient of diffusion. In some books you will find this as a coefficient of self diffusion, but here we will in our book as BB Loud, it is called coefficient of diffusion. What do we mean by what do they mean by self diffusion? When some books write it self diffusion, they consider these kind of processes where all the molecules are A, and the molecules, new molecules you are inserting are also A. So it is some kind of diffusing into themselves. So that is self diffusion. In most books they take care about they talk about self diffusion, but in our book BB Loud, they are talking about diffusion in other gas, other molecules. So that's where we are going to call this guy coefficient of diffusion, just the coefficient of diffusion. And this law itself is called Fick's law. So it was just a physics. We knew that this would happen for any gas whatsoever, and eventually we took this constant which will depend upon the situations and upon the molecules, and we don't know how many parameters will it depend, but it will vary by situation from situation. So this is what it is, Fick's law. Okay, this was some physics. Now what we are going to be talking about is diffusion equation. Once I'll try to derive this diffusion equation. So what is my purpose? My purpose is you have two layers. Let's draw those layers horizontally, vertically. So there are two planes. Actually, this is one plane, this is other plane, and those two planes are at different places. One is at z equal to z, and one is at z equal to z plus delta z, or dz, let's say. So other plane is at z equal to z plus dz. What I'm talking about here, we are making two planes actually. This is plane at z equal to z. This is plane at z equal to z plus delta z. So there are two planes. Now what I'm interested in is, the distance between these two is dz. The area of cross section of this plane is a, and it is same with this plane also. So area of cross section of these planes are a, and number density of a is obviously na. So what I'm talking about is number of molecules entering through these sides and number of molecules leaving from this side are different, because initially what you can think about, visualize the situation like this. Initially there were no molecules of a here, but after you throw in some enough molecules of a, they will try to rearrange themselves and eventually there will be some molecules of a. So number of molecules entering this area of cross section is not equal to the number of molecules leaving through this area of cross section. And we want to find the change in between, the change of number of molecules in this region, So our purpose is the change, increase per unit area, per unit time, or increase. Let's not talk about per unit area because area is specially defined. So increase per unit time. Let's talk about this. Increase per unit time in the number of A molecules inside the slab. Now what am I calling slab? I'm calling this region as a slab. So this region I'm calling slab. So this region I'm calling slab. So some molecules are coming from the left side, leaving from the right side, and number of increase per unit, the number which is increasing per unit time in this slab, I want to find that out. Yes. Okay. I want to find that out, this number, this increase per unit area in the number of A molecules inside the slab. And it is definitely going to be equal to number of molecules coming of A coming from Z equal to Z surface. They are coming and there are few guys who are going to leave. So number of minus number of molecules leaving from Z equal to Z plus dz surface. So total number of increase in this per unit time in this slab, it is going to be something like this. And just if I want to write it mathematically, so number of molecules inside the slab can be given by number density into A into dz. This is how I should write this. Number density into A into dz is total number of molecules inside this slab, and I just want to take its time derivative to know increase per unit time. And this should be equal to A times gamma z of z minus A times gamma of z plus dz. What do I mean by this? This gamma z means number of molecules entering through this cross-sectional area through unit cross-sectional area per unit time. And if you multiply it with the cross-sectional area, you get all the number of molecules entering through this whole cross-sectional area. And here you get all the molecules leaving through this whole cross-sectional area. It definitely obviously depends on the Z, because at different Z, this flux is going to be different. So this is the simple mathematics. And if you just try to solve this, you use our well-known formula that we used initially. If you try to solve this, we can just write this del by del t na a dz equal to A times gamma z of z minus A times gamma z of z minus del gamma z by dz del z into dz. I hope you know this from this expression. From this expression, you can easily reach through this expression. We talked about this. Okay. And now I just want to write this. In your book, it is derived using continuity equation. I am just using simple statistical mechanics that we know till today. In your book, it is derived using continuity equation. So you can also refer to your book or you can refer to my notes. Both are exactly accurate derivations. of diffusion equation. Minus plus A times del gamma Z by del Z dz. Okay, and this is going to be, they will cancel out eventually, and this is going to be del NA by del T. You can take out A in dz, and A and dz will get cancelled. So it is del gamma Z by del Z. There has to be some minus, I am missing it. Okay, there should be plus here. That's how there should be minus, because there should be plus because it is Z plus dz's differentiation expansion. So there should be minus somewhere here, and this minus will carry themselves. And since gamma Z is nothing but, according to Fick's law, gamma Z is minus d del Na by del Z. So here you can expand this del Na by del T, and gamma Z is minus d del Na by del Z, and minus will cancel out with this minus, and it is going to be del square Na by del Z square. And this guy is going to be the diffusion equation, going to be called the diffusion equation. This equation is called diffusion equation. This equation is called diffusion equation. Now let's stop. Okay. So initially I was discussing some Fick's law, this physics, and we want to find out this coefficient of diffusion. But then for these two slides, I drifted away. It is not the part of your current derivation of this D. You can derive this D very simply. We'll talk about that in 5 minutes. But I drifted away to just derive diffusion equation. Just derive. You will study more about this diffusion equation in your MSc. But let's just, we just try to derive this diffusion equation using our simple statistical mechanics that we learned till today. And if you see this equation, does this equation remind you of anything else? This equation reminds you of anything else? This single time derivative on one side, there is twice space derivative on the other side. Any equation? Wave equation has two time second order time derivative.
Heat equation.
Heat equation, definitely, yes, we talked about that. This definitely reminds us of heat equation, but there is something which we call wave equation, but is not actually a wave.
Schrodinger equation.
So Schrodinger wave equation is not actually a wave equation. It is diffusion equation. If you see, you use something like this. There is time derivative of one wave function on the one side, and there is total energy operator on the other side, and that total energy operator is going to be consisted of the momentum operator, which looks like this, the second derivative in space. So this is somewhat equal to Schrodinger equation. So Schrodinger equation itself is a diffusion equation. So if you will study in more deep, you will understand that Schrodinger equation itself is not a wave equation, though we call it a wave equation, but it is a diffusion equation. So yes, and you can understand about why the Schrodinger's equation is called diffusion equation and all those things. If you want to wait, you can wait till your MSc, or you can start reading a good book, any good book. They will have some part or some treatise for this, that why Schrodinger equation is a diffusion equation. So this was a drift from the actual derivation that we wanted to do. Now let's come to it was a drift. Now my purpose is to derive D, the expression of D, using statistical considerations, and that will be the end of my understanding about the diffusion process for our level. So we just want to derive this D, this guy we just want to derive. So what we will do is we will try to find out the flux of A through any surface, and eventually when we will find out the flux of A, we'll try to write this as something times del Na by del Z, and that something we'll call diffusion coefficient. So that's what our purpose is going to be. Okay.
I have a doubt.
Yes.
Can you please go back to previous slide?
Yes.
Sir, can you please explain that term inside the bracket?
This one.
No, left side, NAADZ.
So it is number of, okay, I can explain it from here. It is total number of particles. Na times A times dz is total number of particles inside this slab. because Na is number density, A is the area, and dz is the small length. So area times small length is equal to volume. This guy is going to be equal to volume, and Na is number density, that is number of molecules of A per unit volume. So it is just a multiplication of those two. So number of molecules in this slab, it is this number.
Okay,
And
thank you, sir.
by taking
Understood.
time derivative, we are going to tackle the process where this number is going to be changing with time. So that's why we are taking this time derivative to know how they are changing as time changes. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes. And here we did something. We made a beautiful assumption, which means where we assumed that Na is not changing with Z. In this small region Bz, we assume that number density is constant. Otherwise, we can't write it like this. We assume, otherwise we have to integrate, but we assume that in this small infinitesimal region of dz, Na is constant, and that is our assumption. Of course, we have to pay price for it, but the end will tell us. Yes.
સર જો નંબર ડેન્સિટીને આપણે કોન્સ્ટન્ટ લેતા હોય
Huh.
તો પછી ફ્લક્સ એ અહીંયા ને અહીંયા અલગ કઈ રીતના હોય?
Yes. So in this small region only we are taking number density constant. So yes, it is a good question.
બીકોઝ યુનિફોર્મ ફ્લો થઈ જશે
હા,
ફ્લક્સ
uniform flow.
અને ફ્લક્સ યુનિફોર્મ હોય તો પછી આ ડિફરન્સ માઇનસ થઈ જાય, ઝીરો થઈ જાય.
Yes, definitely. But this
So-
is our approximation. So we are taking it also constant, and we are at the same time talking about flux being changed. So yes, total number of particles are changing in this range. So number density eventually, as time changes, it changes. But in this range, okay, yes. What do I mean by constant? By constant, I mean that it is constant of space. It is not constant of time. So as we move in this direction, the number of particles per unit volume are constant. That's what I want to tell. If you stay at the same place for a sufficient time, this number density will change because some particles are coming and very few are going. So as time progresses, this number density will change. So it is not constant with time, but as space changes in this small region, very, very small region, the number density is treated as constant in this derivation. So I hope you understand the distinction between the constant in space and constant in time. Kindly confirm, or otherwise I can rephrase it.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay, now you understood, right? Now you got the point.
Yep.
So our assumption is that it is constant in space, not constant in time. So what we are talking about is the flux changing with time as time changes.
Okay sir.
Okay, understood, right?
Yes sir.
Okay. So by doing some statistics, we want to find out this D. And how should we find out this D? Just somebody of you can let me know. We can take this plane as Z equal to Z. Let's take those planes again on the vertical direction so that we can easily see those planes. Take three planes. One is Z equal to Z, Z equal to Z plus L, and Z equal to Z minus L. We are going to be taking three different planes, and from this plane to this side, number of molecules who are going to come is 1/6 of Nv. From this plane to this side, number of molecules who are going to cross this plane is going to be 1/6 of Nv. And eventually both of these molecules are going to cross this plane. And what my real purpose is, we just want to change, we just want to know how the flux changes at the plane Z equal to Z. How many particles are going in this side, how many particles are going in this side. So suppose del N by del Z is less than 0. Suppose, what does it mean? Del Na by del Z is less than 0. It means that as Z increases, Na decreases. It means there are more number of particles of A in this direction and less number of particles of A in this direction. It means the flow will be in this direction. Flow will be in this direction. So this number has to be larger and this number has to be smaller. So if we want to talk about the total net flux crossing this surface Z equal to Z, we need to subtract this guy from this guy. So this guy is bigger, this guy is smaller. Is everybody with me? And this number density is now not constant with Z, so we will take that also into considerations. So what I'm talking about is total flux through the plane Z equal to Z is equal to 1/6 of average velocity times NA through the NA through this surface Z minus L, NA through the surface Z minus L minus 1/6 of V and NA through this surface Z plus L. Now you can ask any questions. This is the total flux passing through this surface, and this is equal to these subtraction of these guys. NA of Z minus L is, I just want to write it, number density at plane, number density of A, definitely, at plane Z equal to Z minus L. This is how we write it. And this is number density of A molecules at plane Z equal to Z plus L. So if you have any questions, if you have got any questions for this thing, you can just shoot the questions right now. Otherwise, we'll move forward. We will do just the expansion of these two guys, and we'll try to figure this out. Okay. So this simple expansion. Can anybody tell me the expansion of this? We did it quite a several number of times. Am I writing correct? Okay. So how many of you are asleep? As it is the afternoon class and you have just had your lunch and you are.
Yes.
Yes. Can I write it like this?
Yes.
Yes. So if you write it in this place and in this place, eventually what you will do is you will subtract it. And eventually you will get this -2 times del Na by del Z. Somebody of you has forgot to turn off your mic. -2 del Na by del Z into L. Yes. So this is del Z at Z equal to gamma Z at Z equal to Z. I hope everybody is okay with this. Now we can cross this 3 and we can write it something like this. Gamma Z at Z is going to be equal to -1/3 of N, -1/3 of L times average V, not N times average V. So it is L times average V. L times average V into del NZ, NA by del Z. And if we compare this with the Fick's law, then we are going to get the coefficient of diffusion as 1/3 of L times V. This is the coefficient of diffusion. And in general, this L is of the order of mean free path, because those planes we consider them separated by the order of mean free path. So this L is generally of the order of mean free path, and that's how we can do some calculation for Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics or for gases. We can calculate this diffusion coefficient, and it is going to be okay, let's first calculate L for those gases. What is the mean free path? You have studied this somewhere in this unit only. In this unit, initially you studied this mean free path is √2 n sigma. You studied something like this. And if L is 1 upon √2 n sigma, then it is 1 upon √2 sigma, and n can be written as average pressure upon kT. Average pressure upon kT. Number density can be written as average pressure upon kT. And eventually you also have V, average value of V, as the gas is moving in 3 dimension. It is √8 pi m over kT. So this is also the formula of velocity you have, and if you put both of them, L and average V, into this equation, what you are eventually going to get is the diffusion coefficient, and which is going to be equal to 2 by 3 sigma average P into √ k cube T cube over pi. So this is the diffusion coefficient for gases, general ideal gas that we talk about. The diffusion coefficient of gases. This is simple example. Then, and if the values are given, then you can calculate this. But it is not my purpose. This is simple diffusion coefficient for gases. That's what I wanted to talk about. I hope everything is clear. Now you can shoot your question. It is the end of the lecture.